Now, to see a regular person this far up on the list is probably shocking. Well, Grant Ward from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't a regular person, but as far as Marvel goes, there's not much going on with him. Sure, he's a trained killer and undercover agent for Hydra, but can he fly? Is he a super soldier? Oh, how about a god? No, none of the above? Then I'll scoff in his general direction. But believe it or not, despite his regular appearance, he's got quite a bit of abilities included with him that carry him this high onto the list. Well, Grant Ward basically has every single ability a regular person could have in this game, which is like 7 of them. Firstly, he was undercover for Hydra, so Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. is just common sense at this point. He has agility, technology, and scan with his advanced training. Finally, the 2 that may come as a surprise are his grapple and explosive abilities. Grapple is just uncommon for a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent to have, or in this case, a Hydra agent. And explosive isn't something that many agents have either. I think before this, the only agent to have explosives was Coulson. And Grant Ward's explosive is pretty much the exact same as his. It's a little ironic. This is the first time I'm officially covering Spider-Man on this channel. Spider-Man, if you haven't noticed, is kind of the namesake of my channel as a whole. But I'm covering him in the game where he was only available in DLC. Like I said, ironic. This is the main Spider-Man that came with the Spider-Man character pack. This suit is the same one we saw in LEGO Marvel Superheroes and is the minifigure for the Ultimate Spider-Man sets. Here's a little confession. The only thing this Spider-Man can do that the 3 we've covered a few parts ago can't is his ability to switch to his alter ego Peter Parker. Aside from that, this Spider-Man is the exact same as Spider-Girl, Scarlet Spider, and the Civil War Spider-Man. Spider-Man can web swing, wall climb, do technology and scan, with grapple and agility. And finally, he can transform into Peter Parker after a web cocoon animation. Peter Parker just has a camera and agility. I know the ability to switch to Peter Parker shouldn't boost him up a whole 3 parts, but come on, it's me. It's my namesake. Let me have this. Besides, Peter Parker has nothing but a camera that functions the same as the Jatari tourist. Remember that guy? How his camera can befuzzle enemies? Well, Peter Parker does the same. That justifies his boost in the ranking, doesn't it? Okay, I'll be honest, this guy is a lot like those big boys we covered a few parts ago, but this guy has a sword, and that's why I ranked him higher. Honestly, I shouldn't have ranked him this far higher, but in a series with just under 300 characters, some characters might slip through the cracks. I'm only human after all. But then again, let it be known that having a sword when most people like you don't have one gets you ahead in life. But this is Scar, the son of the Hulk, in the infamous comic World War Hulk, which Thor Ragnarok took elements of. Scar was born from a cocoon in the like of fire, so he goes hard. Will we ever see Scar in the MCU? Honestly, I can't see it happening without some sort of giant retcon, but if they want to keep the MCU going for as long as possible, the son of the Hulk is definitely a way to achieve that. But, like I said, Scar has a lot of the same stuff as those other big boys, which are immunity to toxins and fire, wall climbing, strength, super jump, cracked wall, and regenerative health. I think the reason why I ranked him so much higher is not just the sword, but the fact that I listed Extinguish as an ability during my research when I didn't do that with the other big boys. Scar having Extinguish is technically true. When Scar walks over fire, he takes them out completely. Most other big boys just pad down the fire temporarily just for it to come back up when they leave. Still though, I doubt that little distinction and the sword is enough to boost Scar up 7 whole parts. Wow. This is one of the most fun characters to unlock in the game. For those who don't know, Lou Ferrigno played the Hulk in the terribly campy Hulk show that came out in 1978. To unlock Lou Ferrigno, you have to complete a line of quests given by Lou Ferrigno in Manhattan. When you complete all of them, you unlock this guy for purchase, similar to how you unlock the elderly Agent Carter. But Lou Ferrigno is a much cooler character than that old hag. Lou Ferrigno, when you unlock him, is seemingly useless. However, he can transform into the 1978 Hulk in the best way possible. He takes out a can of green spray paint and becomes the 1978 Hulk by just spraying himself with it. In this form, he has all of the same abilities as the other big boys, so he has strength, wall climbing, super jump, cracked wall, immunity to fire, gas, and toxins, and finally regenerative health. When you're ready to switch back, Stan Lee comes out of nowhere with a fire extinguisher and washes the paint right off. Funny how that green paint can make Lou Ferrigno strong, unless Lou is that strong already and the green paint is sort of a courtesy. Is it just me, or is Red She-Hulk the Waluigi of these Hulk characters? Think about it. In this analogy, Hulk is Mario since he's the main character, She-Hulk is the lovable sidekick, Red Hulk is the antithesis of the main character, so Wario, and Red She-Hulk, like Waluigi, is only here because the antithesis of the main character needed a tennis partner. Well, Red Hulk wasn't playing tennis, but I mean, you get the gist. However, Red She-Hulk in this game outranks her male counterpart, who is actually her dad in the comics. Red She-Hulk has a lot of the same abilities of Red Hulk, but she's just smaller. Red She-Hulk has strength, wall climbing, cracked wall, super jump, toxin immunity, regenerative health, and finally agility. Agility is the thing Red She-Hulk has over Red Hulk and also her smaller size. I didn't mention this with Lou Ferrigno, but a regularly sized minifigure with Hulk-like abilities is more advantageous because I personally find that the big fig characters control clunkily, if that makes sense. So if a regular sized character can do the same stuff, plus agility, yeah, I'm going to rank them over the standard big fig counterpart. Now, following She-Hulk comes the original She-Hulk. Now, I ranked She-Hulk over the red one because She-Hulk is the OG, obviously. Also, with She-Hulk having her own show on the way for Disney+, She-Hulk is going to go on the MCU Edition list. An MCU Edition lister will always be a priority over a character with the same set of abilities. You understand. But yeah, just like Red She-Hulk, She-Hulk has agility, toxin immunity, super jump, cracked wall, wall climbing, strength, and regenerative health. Something I haven't mentioned, but it applies to She-Hulk along with the two other Hulk characters we just went over. This also applies to every regular size minifigure with super jump, and also sporadically to random characters like Daredevil, but some characters can pull out parachutes in the air. Like in She-Hulk's case, after super jumping, she can pull out a parachute to extend the duration of her time in the air. This is similar to Moon Knight's glide and might even be able to be classified as such, but it's a little too niche of a thing. It's a neat detail that I wouldn't get to mention anywhere else though. The Grandmaster and the Collector are brothers in a sense. In the comics, they're both elders of the universe. However, their relation to the MCU is still unknown. I mean, the Collector might be dead after Infinity War after Thanos assaulted his collection for the Reality Stone. But he could have escaped, we don't know. Last time we saw Grandmaster, his odds didn't look too good either.
It's a tie.
But I'm going to assume they're both alive because I want to see if these guys really do have some sort of relationship in the MCU. By the way, like I implied, the Grandmaster is going to go on the MCU Edition list for his appearance in Thor Ragnarok, played by Jeff Goldblum. As for this game though, you may recall that I considered the Collector as a disappointment, especially since you go through a lot of trouble to get him. The same definitely cannot be said for the Grandmaster. He has so many abilities and you don't have to scour every level in the game to get him. In fact, you just find him in the South America hub world and it's so much less work. But the Grandmaster has a lot of magical abilities that the MCU version definitely doesn't have. He has telekinesis, mind control, great immunity to fire, gas, and toxins, laser, electricity, and finally, cosmic. Having the cosmic ability definitely seals the deal for this guy. The only thing missing here is flight. Not that I think the Grandmaster should have it, just that it might have landed him way higher. Maybe in the 20s, maybe in the top 10, who knows. Remember Finesse from part 2, and I said her alleged dad is in this game, but I couldn't say? Well, Taskmaster is that guy. Here's a character I think got a little shafted in the MCU. Taskmaster is a pretty cool villain with his ability to mimic any ability he observes. Makes him like a cool villain. In the Black Widow movie, Taskmaster turned out to be some puppet of the Red Room. Also, Taskmaster is going on the MCU Edition list. Wow, 3 editions in a row. That's a little unprecedented. But Taskmaster's MCU depiction was underwhelming. Yeah, I guess the skull face is hard to adapt without making it look too campy, but the Square Enix Avengers game did a pretty good job, I thought. One of the few things they got right, actually, was Taskmaster. Like I said, Taskmaster has the ability of mimicking the abilities of others, and that's used in this game. As you can see, Taskmaster wields a shield, sword, and bow and arrow. It's cool that he has a lot of weapons, which he should, but I feel as though he doesn't use his sword enough. The bow and arrow is the default when you attack, but with the shield and bow and arrow, he has most of the abilities of both Captain America and Hawkeye. With the bow and arrow, Taskmaster can melt gold Lego, use explosives, grapple, and shatter glass, just like Hawkeye. With the shield, Taskmaster can deflect like Captain America, but he can't use Captain America's iconic shield switch, which is a little weird, but I guess it makes sense. The color scheme has to match, I suppose. Taskmaster also has agility, as it should be obvious. And finally, Taskmaster has glide, something we haven't seen since Moon Knight. Unless you count like the parachutes that some characters have, like I mentioned. At first glance, Quasar looks like he comes from the cosmic side of Marvel, and that's kind of correct, but he has an earthly origin with S.H.I.E.L.H. and Stark Industries. Basically, Stark Industries created these quantum bands, and Wendell Vaughn, a S.H.I.E.L.H. agent, watched as some dude put them on and disintegrate himself. But when AIM attacks to take the quantum bands, Wendell Vaughn puts them on and becomes Quasar. His main thing is that he can rearrange his atoms into any shape. Not shapeshift per se, more becoming light and then moving around, I think. Not completely sure. But from what I've said so far, it seems like it would make sense for him to have Great with rearranging his form and all. Wrong. Great is the one ability he doesn't have. He has a ton more though. He has Deflect, Laser, Electricity, Cracked Wall, Regenerative Health, Force Field, and Flight to seal the deal. Sure, he has those less useful abilities like Regenerative Health and Force Field, but Quasar having Electricity, Laser, and Flight is a huge plus. It's just a shame that he can't use the Great, even though I feel like he was born for that ability. After Quasar, we have a niche character that has had a few scuffles with Quasar, actually. In the end, though, the Jack of Hearts is actually a good guy, surprisingly. In fact, Jack of Hearts is actually being featured in the She-Hulk run of comics that's coming out right now, and he's a bit different from the guy you see in the game. But aside from that, he's a pretty good character after everything. He's a magic user, though he doesn't have telekinesis and mind control. But aside from those two abilities that he doesn't have, he has Deflect, Electricity, Strength, Cracked Wall, Laser, Flight, and immunity to fire, gas, and toxins.